An example of an element of a short story entitled The Grumpy Man. Ethan had always been a curious boy. He loved exploring his neighborhood, discovering new things, and meeting new people. But there was one person he had never approached: Mr. Grayson, the old man who lived in the house at the end of the street. Everyone in the neighborhood knew Mr. Grayson. He was grumpy, quick to anger, and always alone. If a ball accidentally landed in his yard, it was as good as lost. The kids whispered about him, calling him the grumpy old man, but Ethan was different. He wondered why Mr. Grayson was always so upset. One late summer day, as the sun was setting and the cicadas were singing their last songs of the season, Ethan spotted Mr. Grayson sitting on his porch, frowning at the world. Ethan had been taught by his mother, Mrs. Thompson, to treat everyone with kindness and respect, so he decided to approach Mr. Grayson.
Hello. Mr. Grayson?
What do you want, boy? Go on, get out of here.
Mr. Grayson grumbled something under his breath and turned away, but Ethan noticed that he didn't tell him to leave again. Taking this as a small victory, Ethan smiled and said,
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Grayson.
Over the next few days, Ethan made it a point to greet Mr. Grayson whenever he saw him. Sometimes, Mr. Grayson would snap at him, but other times, he would just grumble and nod. Ethan's mother noticed and asked,
Why do you keep talking to Mr. Grayson, Ethan? He's not very friendly.
I think he's just lonely, Mom. Maybe if someone shows him a little respect, he won't be so grumpy.
That's very kind of you, Ethan. Just remember, not everyone changes quickly, but that doesn't mean you're not making a difference.
One afternoon, Ethan noticed that Mr. Grayson's yard was overgrown with weeds. Without a word, he grabbed his small garden trowel and started pulling the weeds, one by one. When Mr. Grayson saw what Ethan was doing, he stormed out of his house.
Boy, what are you doing in my yard?
Just helping out, Mr. Grayson. Your yard is too nice to be overrun with weeds.
Mr. Grayson opened his mouth to yell, but then something in Ethan's expression stopped him. He huffed, shook his head, and mumbled, "Suit yourself." Then he turned and went back inside, but not before Ethan caught a glimpse of something softer in his eyes. The next day, Ethan was playing outside when Officer Jenkins, the local police officer, stopped by. He had known Mr. Grayson for years and was surprised to see the old man's yard looking better than usual.
Ethan, did you help Mr. Grayson with his yard?
Yes, sir. I think he just needs someone to show him a little respect.
You know, Ethan, Mr. Grayson wasn't always like this. He used to be a kind man, but he lost his wife a few years ago. Since then, he's been alone and hasn't had anyone to talk to.
That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ethan saw Mr. Grayson sitting on his porch again. This time, Ethan brought him a small plate of cookies his mother had baked. He walked up to the porch and handed the plate to Mr. Grayson.
These are from my mom, Mr. Grayson. She makes the best cookies.
You're a good boy, Ethan. You remind me of my grandson. He used to visit me all the time before everything changed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Grayson. I didn't know.
It's not your fault, son. It's just sometimes life makes you hard and you forget what it's like to be soft.
Maybe we can help each other remember.
From that day on, Mr. Grayson wasn't as grumpy. He started waving at the neighbors, even offering a rare smile now and then. Ethan visited him regularly, and soon, the whole neighborhood noticed the change in the old man.
You know, Ethan, you taught me something important. Respect isn't just for the young or the successful, it's for everyone, even an old man like me.
And you taught me that even the grumpiest people have a kind heart, Mr. Grayson.
In the end, it wasn't just Mr. Grayson who changed, it was the entire neighborhood. They realized that everyone deserved respect, no matter how they seemed on the outside. And it all started with one kind boy and one grumpy old man. Questions. 1. Who are the characters of the story? 2. Where and when does the story take place? 3. What is the main plot of the story? 4. What is the central conflict in the story? 5. How does Ethan's persistence lead to the resolution of the story? 6. What is the theme of the story? 7. From whose point of view is the story told? 8. What is the tone of the story? I hope you learned something today. Please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel Learn English with Marissa and hit the notification below to be updated on more latest videos. Thank you.